Hey guys, it's Lucas. I'm coming to you guys with another diary video. This is going to be diary entry number 6. And the title of this one will be The Worst Person Ever. Now, I'm going to go over with you guys a voicemail that I received in probably early January of 2023. So this is picking up on the last one, so this is part 3 of the last 2 videos. So I had upgraded phones, switched iPhones, and not sure why a voicemail from September of 2022 didn't come to me until after I updated my phone, restarted it, and then it said I had a new voicemail. This is January when I'm getting the notification for this voicemail, which makes no sense, because, well, it was the date on that voicemail was September, probably the beginning or middle of September of 2022, so about 2 or 3 weeks prior to my dad's passing. My grandma had left a voicemail begging me to come help them because her sister didn't really give a crap about them, which I believe. My dad was falling a lot, but I didn't get this message until January of 2023. And I don't know why, and I still can't bring myself to delete that voicemail because, I don't know, sometimes I listen to it, it feels like to punish myself. So this is a few months after my mom and brother had come to town back in November. We happened to be driving somewhere in the Hollister area. I can't remember where we were going. Yeah, I can't remember where we were going. But I happened to spot the place that I knew that my grandma and dad were going to be cremated at if something had happened to either one of them. So I decided to go ahead and pull into the parking lot of the place that cremated my father. And I went in, and before I went in, I was praying that the guy that was there that handled my step-grandfather's cremation services and stuff was going to be there, because like we kind of connected on a level as far as professional and personal, especially when it comes to family. So I went in. Thankfully that guy was there, and I had asked him, like, could you please tell me something? You guys are the ones that shared the obituary, and he had told me that he couldn't tell me anything because I wasn't the DPOA, aka Durable Power of Attorney. And so I just looked him in the eye and said, how would you feel if your father died, or if you passed away and none of the family reached out to let your kids know that you had passed? And in that moment, he just kind of said, okay, I can't give you anything in writing, but I'll show it to you. He printed off a copy of the obituary for me to have, and told me the name of the nursing home where he had passed away. And I said, okay. So I said, thank you. As I walked out, after I learned who his DPOA was, I knew right then and there who the culprit was. After a little over a month of blaming, being angry, and hating my grandma with every ounce in me, I knew that my grandma wouldn't let my dad go into a nursing home, and I knew she wouldn't go into one. But it turns out that was the case. Like, they agreed to go in, but Durable Power of Attorney was given to somebody that neither of them would have given unless it was their only choice. And at that time, it was their only choice. And so, anyways, I walked out to the car and I punched the ceiling of the car. Anyways, and there my brother and my mom and John had asked what the hell was going on. And I explained everything to them, and in that moment, we all looked at each other in agreement as to we know who this was, who was up to all of this or whatever. And I remember expressing, this is the biggest bitch of a human that I've ever known. If you guys have ever seen the TV show Once Upon a Time, and the lady with the child in there, she's so evil. When they pull her heart out, it's black. Eventually she became a better person, but that is not the case with my grandmother's sister. So after he gave me the name and I explained everything, I decided to go ahead and call the nursing home and ask to speak to my grandmother. They told me, hang on just a second and we'll go get her. Well, about 2 minutes after that, the lady came back on the phone and said, I can't tell you if she's here or not. And I said, okay, but you just did. And she's like, you're going to have to reach out to her DPOA to find out where she's at. And I said, no, I don't, because you already told me, but thank you. Have a good day. And come to find out that her sister actually happened to be there that day and told them not to let me through at all. By the way, a DPOA is only somebody who is in control once someone is incompetent of doing it themselves or making choices themselves. They don't get to have power over you or anything else or any decisions that you make unless you are deemed incompetent by a medical professional or a judge. Anyways, so with that being said, I just kind of moved on. When I did get the notification of the voicemail, I immediately called my bonus grandmother, LaDonna, because she's worked in the medical field. She also worked kind of in a profession where she handled things in a legal way. So I reached out to her and expressed this, and we went over things that could be done. And at the end of our call, she said, well, honestly, the very first thing I would try is calling the nursing home back. So I called the nursing home, gave them a message that I had received a voicemail from my grandmother. I did not tell them when that voicemail actually came through, because I was hoping that if they tried to say what they did before, that they would maybe go ahead and give her the message to call me anyway. She called me. She was angry at first, but after explaining everything, like how I tried looking for them, I went on the search for them before he even passed away, and a month after I had cut them off, which you can find in either part 1 or part 2 as to why I ended up having to cut my grandma off, and my dad just kind of followed, because that's just the way he's always been. Doesn't make him a bad person. So yeah, that is, how all that went. We ended up reconnecting, and now we have a stronger relationship than we ever have. But turns out when I did reconnect with her, she said she tried sending me text messages and so on and so forth. So when I did meet up with her in person for the first time after all of this, I had asked if I could look at her phone. Because when I learned that her sister was the leading culprit of all of this stuff, my dad, by the way, was asking for his kids in his final week or final last 2 weeks before he passed away. And that person denied him that. Who denies a dying person the wish to see their kids one last time? Who does that? Only somebody who is evil. And I hope that person rots in hell. Anyways, she did say it was okay because she wanted to prove to me that she was sending me text messages. Come to find out that my new phone number was blocked. John's current phone number was blocked from being able to send or receive text messages. Well, you know how blocking somebody in your phone works. And my new number was deleted out of her phone while my old number was left in there. So the whole time that she was texting my old phone number. And John's phone number was deleted out of the phone, but the number was blocked. I did see all of the messages, and I happened to mention to her that in the same month that I, had walked away for a little bit, I said, Christian tried to reach out to you like 2 days or even the same day that this happened, and you never responded to him. And she said, I never got a message. That chat message was archived. And Christian was blocked on Facebook. And so were the rest of us. And when, kind of learning more about my grandma's story and her situation, she'd expressed that there was a lot of times she was in and out of the hospital. So a lot of times she would have to leave the phone or the computer with my dad to be able to reach out. This is before they went into the nursing home. And a lot of the times her sister would go over there and sit with him until it was time for him to go to sleep or whatever, just to make sure he was okay. Because with the tumors that he had growing, like I said, he was falling a lot. He wasn't eating. And again, we were supposed to treat it like Alzheimer's and dementia. So I can only imagine who did the blocking and who did the deleting of messages and so on and so forth. And because let me tell you something. My grandma does not know how to do any of that stuff. I just recently showed her not long ago how to block people or spam callers on her phone, probably a couple of months ago. And it took a few times for her to get it down. So it's easier now that she's on an iPhone, because I feel like an iPhone is more suitable for those who are not real tech savvy. And no, I'm not insulting anybody. Not everybody is tech savvy. I just happened to work for Verizon for 7 years and just know my way around a lot of technology and further ways than a lot of people who don't work for phone companies do. So yeah, like that's the full story on that. Like I said, we're closer now more than ever, and she respects me more now than ever. Sometimes you have to get out of a toxic situation in order for somebody to take a step back and realize how they were wrong in their actions. But I will honestly say that it took my dad passing for a lot of people in like me and her to turn into better people than we were the day before, the month before, or the year before. And sometimes it takes things like that. Yes, my grandma was toxic for a lot of years, especially after my grandfather died, but people grieve in different ways, and I can only I don't want to imagine what it's like to lose the love of your life after 39 years of marriage. And I can only imagine the kind of trauma and kind of pain and anger that did to her. So all I've got to say is, like, don't hold grudges forever, because you will regret it if you don't. Even if the relationship with somebody is not repairable, you either need to forgive them, even if they don't know that you forgive them, and try to do your best to move on and be better than you were before. So anyways, that's just kind of like a short story. Like, I know there's a lot of people who, cut my grandma out for similar toxic reasons or their own reasons, but when I tell you that that's not the same person that you knew 5 years ago, I mean it. Repair a relationship if it is repairable, because there might be a day where that comes that's never going to be possible. But I hope you guys enjoyed, kind of story time. This is the final part. I just want you guys to know that I miss my dad more than anything in this world. And if I could just say one last thing to him, it would be that I love him, and that has never, ever stopped. Had I have ever received that voicemail when it came through, everybody knows that I would have dropped everything and went and grabbed my grandma and dad. But I didn't get it when the voicemail was originally left. And I am going to assume that even though sometimes we don't like what God has planned for us, He has a plan for everybody. And He times things when He's ready. But I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Much love.